So what we're going to do is change the color of the eyes and nothing else. Okay, so this is an isolation of the hue and saturation. So you have a couple tools in the toolbar. We have several of them that are called selection tools. So we have a lasso tool and all of these other tools here called polygonal, magnetic. These won't work because these are more for sharp edges. This could possibly work, the lasso tool. So that's one option. There's another drop down here that has other selection tools. So there's another selection tool. So let me just show you how the lasso tool works. And then I'll show you how the quick selection tool, because it could be either of these tools to grab the eyes. So that's what you want to do. It's select the eyes with something, right? So with the lasso tool is fairly easy. It's freehand. So what I would need to do is, first of all, I can't do it this far away. I would have to zoom in. To zoom in, you do have your magnetic tool to zoom in, right? Zoom in and then just kind of shift. So if I want to move the page, I have to hold down the space bar, move the page, right? So that's very helpful. Space bar and move. And so now I can go back into my lasso. So how do you use this? Okay. First of all, your feathering shouldn't say too much. Just make sure that it's roughly at either 5 or 10. So I'm just going to leave it roughly here. Okay. If it says anything else, just make sure that it says roughly 10. Okay. Then the lasso tool, as I said, is a freehand. So you kind of have to almost draw around the eye, one eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag. Don't let it go and do the best you can, because you can always fix it after. So here's one eye. Now, if I want to grab the other eye with this tool, so you have one eye. To select something else, I have to hold down the shift so you could see the plus sign. Do you see how my cursor changed and you have a plus sign? So when you hold down shift, then I can click and don't let go of the shift until you grab the other eye. So then you have two eyes, and it's not perfect because we can always fix that with a mask, okay? And if I want to add a hue and saturation only to the eyes, I have to hold down the Option key and click on hue and saturation. So Option, click on hue and saturation at the same time, and then I want to call it eyes, okay? Press OK. Okay, so I just want you to see that now in my layer panel, you can see this almost like a big black thumbnail, but you could see two little dots, which means this is the only area that's going to be applied in the hue and saturation. So now I can take my slider and go back and forth. I'm going to make this a little more dramatic in saturation so you could see it better. Because it has a mask, right? I can zoom in a little more so you could see. So you can use either the tool here, the zoom tool, or if you, on your keyboard, if you press Command plus to zoom in, and then spacebar to move the page. So Command plus to zoom in, spacebar to move the page. Then I can see this a little bit better and I can fix areas. So this is called the masking technique. So if I want to fix areas, see how this blue is coming out here? I would go into this layer here that we just added, which I could turn on and off at any time, and make sure that this area is selected, not this area right here, which is your mask. Then you're going to take the paintbrush, okay, brush tool. And in order to hide areas that are, discoloration, I have to make sure that this area here, the white and the black C here, and there's a double arrowhead. So if I click on the double arrowhead, see how it flips the colors? So I want the black first in front. So when I have the black first in front, make sure that your brush size, you have it at a, decent size, not too big, not too small, right? And make sure the hardness is set to 0, so it's soft, right? So I can go in and then, do you see how now I can fix these areas? Now, if I accidentally go too much inside, let's say if I do this by accident, just have to flip once again the double arrowhead. So the white here is first. Then I would go back in and just fix that. So the white allows you to add the whatever the adjustment is, and the black kind of hides it. So let's look at this eye. Back here, I could go in and I'm going to hide portions. So I'm going to go make sure the black is first, and then just kind of go in and just start removing areas. So that is the lasso tool and how you would change the eyes. So if I turn this on and off, you can see it's a little dramatic just because I did that on purpose. But if you want to change it, go back to your layer, go back to this area here, the hue and saturation, and you can play with different colors at any time. I'm going to take my crop tool just to show you AI capabilities. There's different options. I'm just going to go up here. And so it's a little more freehand, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to extend it the other way to my right-hand side just to show you something interesting. Now, there's nothing here, but with the AI capabilities, and it doesn't always work, it depends on the image, just to show you that now we have this little contextual taskbar here that has something that says generative expand. So sometimes you can expand images based on the AI capabilities. So it will actually pick up some of the image and try to create a natural image. So never rely on this. So I'm going to click on it just to see what happens. I'm going to click on it and then I'm going to generate. And it actually added more of the image, but double check because sometimes it adds extra fingers and things like that, which makes it unnatural. But now I have more of an image here. Then I'm going to show you one more tool. So I'm going to turn off the eyes for a second. I'm going to go back in, zoom in. This time I'll show you the quick selection tool, which we use the lasso tool. Now I'm going to use the quick selection. This one might be easier, but if you double check, make sure your brush size is at a decent size. Make sure it's at the plus sign. With the plus sign, what allows you to do is click on one area and also click on the other, and it will apply to both. So let's say I'm going to click here. See how it picks up some of the eye? If I click a little more, it'll pick up more of the eye, which we can always fix after, just like we did here. And then because there's a plus sign here, now I can click on this area. And there we go. With this selection, I could do the same thing I did before, go back to adjustments, go to hue and saturation, hold down option at the same time, and I'm going to call this eye quick selection so we remember which one. Quick selection, press OK, and I'm just going to press OK and see down here, I turned it off, the original. So here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a bit of a selection, maybe add a little more saturation, and then we're going to have to fix areas again, going back to this black portion here, not this portion here, the thumbnail. It's your layer mask, and go back to the paintbrush. So that's what you're doing. And then making sure that the black fill is showing first down at the bottom here. So then you can go in and just kind of remove the areas that are kind of overlapping too much of the color.